Hello, and welcome to Introduction to Sociology. This video is to give you, to get you more familiar and more comfortable with the way that this course is arranged online, and to draw your attention to all of the important features of our Canvas site and how and when you will want to use them. So here is our home page. I'm trusting if you're watching this video, you've already figured out how to get here. So we'll skip that part. Let's just look right here for a second on the side menu bar, the left-hand menu bar. Here is our home page. Our home page is composed of modules. I'll come back to that in a minute. We also have announcements. This will link you to all of the announcements that I have released throughout the semester. I will primarily be communicating with the class about updates or any changes or additional information that you'll need through announcements. You'll be able to find a record of all announcements from the entire semester here once there have been some. Okay, and you can also, which I would very strongly recommend, change your Canvas settings so that you get a notification either through email or through text message anytime I release an announcement. I will show you where those instructions are shortly. Here we have grades. This is going to be where you can see the grades you've received for all of the graded work you've gotten. Now, this is a test student view that I'm in with some examples of grades for last semester. And you can see just all of these things. So you'll be able to see any graded work that you have here. Discussions. This is going to be important. Now, most of the stuff in this column, you won't actually need to get to through this column because these will all be, there will be links to all of these things in your weekly modules, which I'll get to in a moment. But you can also access all of the discussions throughout the semester instantly by going here. Now, you only see two because I've only published two of the discussion boards so far, but as we go through, of course, you'll see more and more here. This may be useful for you if you want to go back and read some comments from a discussion when you're writing up a paper or something like that. Here we have assignments. Now, this may be useful because this will give you, bring you to a list of all of the assignments that we have. They'll tell what the due dates are. It'll show what you've earned on them if they're already graded, etc. This shows them by date. So this actually shows the assignments by due date. But here, if you click on show by type, which I guess, oh yeah, you can. This will give you a different view so that you can see these are the periodic assignments that you'll have. These are all the discussion boards, and these are all the quizzes. You will have a weekly quiz, a weekly discussion board assignment, and periodic homework assignments that won't be due every week, but every 2 or 3 weeks. Here is just a list of people in the course. The reason I've allowed this to be visible to you is because there will be a time where we get into groups and you will be able to see the members of your groups by clicking on this. You can't actually see them now because I haven't made the groups yet because we're pretty far away from the time when we'll need them. But this is where you will go to find your groups. Then we have student services and library. We won't be using these things for the purpose of this course, but I leave them here because you may want to access them on your own for a variety of reasons. Okay, so let's look at our homepage because this is going to be where and how you get almost all the important information for the course. So our homepage is also our modules page, as you can see, and this will give you everything for this semester. So with 2 exceptions, each single module represents a single week in the course. We'll skip course information for a moment and go back to it just so that I can show you. Here we have week 1 and here we have week 2, and I'm actually going to talk through week 2 because it has a little bit of everything. So occasionally, not every week, but sometimes I will publish short lectures that give you supplementary information or additional things to think about for that weekly topic. For next week, I've already posted a mini lecture about social level versus individual level explanations. There's also a summary for week 2. This is only going to be for week 1 and 2, and these are just to give you a sort of blow by blow of what you need to do that week. I'll stop publishing them after week 2 with the expectation that you've become familiar with how the course goes by the 3rd week. This also has your text reading. This is not a link because generally, with the exception of weeks 1 and 2, I will not provide you any material for the textbook reading. You are responsible for acquiring the textbook in one form or another. But I have published a link to chapter 1 up here. So chapter 1 will get you through weeks 1 and 2. And after that, you'll be responsible for providing the textbook yourself. There will also be links to any additional reading assignments beyond the textbook. There won't be additional reading assignments every week, but there usually will be. And this just brings you to a link of the PDF. You can download it or you can read it online. You'll also find a link in every weekly module to the discussion board for that week. And you will find a link to the quiz. There's no link to the quiz for week 1 because there is no quiz for the first week, but you will begin weekly reading quizzes the 2nd week of class. Here in week 1, we also see another element, which is applying the sociological imagination. This is an assignment, and anytime assignments are given out, you will find the information and the Dropbox for that assignment under the weekly module for the week it was assigned, not the week it was due. Pardon me. So week 1, I am assigning a short paper called Applying the Sociological Imagination. This will be due February 7th, as you can see, and it will be worth 10 points. But come February 6th or 7th, or whenever you're going to submit it, you'll have to come back to the week 1 module to do that. Let's just take a quick look. So this assignment is locked until a couple days from now when the week officially begins. But when it is unlocked, you will see a description of the assignment with instructions on what I want you to do and how to submit it. There will also be a link to a Dropbox where you will upload your document. Let's go back. Okay, so that is pretty much what you will find from one week to the next. There's week 1, week 2. Now you'll see these are grayed out. That's because they haven't been unlocked yet. Each week will unlock 1 week before that week begins. So the module for week 4 will open completely, unlock completely, so that you can access all these things at the beginning of week 3. You will not be able to access the quiz or the discussion board, which you actually have to wait until the current week to write or to take. But those will be released a week in advance. If you need to work in advance for any reason and need access to any of these materials ahead of time, please email me and we can arrange something. Now, as you can see, it only goes through week 6. Now, the whole course has already been created, but I will be releasing it in 6 weeks chunks. So around week 4, I'll release the next 6 weeks through week 12. And then around week 10, I'll release the last chunk. That's mostly just to keep the site more easily navigable. Okay, so here we are back at course information, the one module aside from extra credit module at the very end. That's not actually a weekly module. Instead, course information has all of the important information that you'll need to refer to throughout the semester. You should also read through all of the information in this first module before you begin the module for week 1. This includes our syllabus. There is a full syllabus. You should read through it. Most of the information in the syllabus is also contained on the website somewhere or another, but there is information including the points total for the semester, and course policies, expectations, etc., that aren't really found elsewhere. So please do read through this. The syllabus also has a full course schedule that has all of the readings and assignments and due dates for them for the entire semester. So you can always refer to that if you need to plan well in advance. Next, we have understanding the modules. I'm going to click on this. It may not show us. Oh, it does. That's good. So this is going to be a lot of repeat of information from this video, but you can look through this to get information about all of the aspects on the modules, what they mean, how to use them, etc. So if you're confused about something, check here, read through this, and see if it answers your questions before moving on. There's another page like this for each of the important aspects of this course, including using the discussion boards, which you will have to do on a weekly basis, taking online quizzes, which you will also have to do on a weekly basis, and submitting assignments, which you will have to do every 2 to 3 weeks. There is also a link to our logistical Q&A discussion board. This is the only discussion board that will be open throughout the semester and is intended for you to ask questions, whatever questions you may have about the course. I ask that you ask questions here rather than in private emails about anything that's not of a private nature, so that other students can benefit from the questions and answers that you ask. In addition, you can also answer one another's questions here, and I very much encourage you to do that. In past semesters, there's been a lot of back and forth amongst students helping each other navigate the course and understand the assignments. I encourage you to do that, especially because I won't always answer questions immediately the day they're asked, and it is good for you guys to be a resource to one another. So if you have a question, put it there. Look through the questions that have already been asked, see if it's been answered. And if you see a question posted that you do know the answer to, go ahead and answer it. Here you have course tools. There's just a couple things in course tools that are going to be particularly important to you, and the rest of them are fairly are kind of voluntary. So here is where you're going to find the information about changing your Canvas settings. So setting up notifications is going to give you instructions for how to change your Canvas settings in order to receive notification of announcements, grade changes, or grade additions, or any other aspect of Canvas. And you can set Canvas up to notify you through text message, through your Insight email, or through a separate private email that you use, to make sure that you're getting the announcements on time, because as I said before, you're responsible for all the information in those announcements. There is also going to be good examples of student work here. Once in a while, I may publish something from a previous semester in advance of the deadline for an assignment if I think that you might need extra guidance on how to complete it. Other times I will just post examples of full or almost full credit work for assignments that you have already completed, just to give you a better idea of how they were graded. Okay, so that is most of what you'll need to navigate this course. Any questions you have, you can put on the Q&A board or email me.